Congratulations, you have $5,000 saved in the bank. You know what that makes you? Temporarily broke with a slightly larger cushion. I know, that sounds harsh. But here's the brutal truth nobody wants to tell you. $5,000 is the most dangerous amount of money you can have. It's not enough to be wealthy, but it's just enough to make you feel comfortable. And comfort is the enemy of financial growth. Right now, that $5,000 is sitting in your bank account earning what? 0.5% interest? Maybe 4% if you're lucky? Congratulations, you're losing money to inflation faster than ice cream melts in July. Your money is literally shrinking while you sleep. But here's where it gets interesting. According to a 2023 study, 78% of Americans who reach $5,000 in savings will still be at roughly the same financial position 5 years later. 5 years! That's because they treat $5,000 like a finish line when it's actually a starting block. The wealthy, they see $5,000 completely differently. They see a wealth-building machine waiting to be activated. They see a 24/7 employee that never sleeps, never complains, and multiplies itself while they binge watch their favorite shows. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what to do with that $5,000. Not someday, not when you learn more about investing. Immediately. Because every day you wait, you're choosing to stay financially stuck. We're going to walk through 7 specific steps that transform your $5,000 from a sitting duck into a wealth-generating asset. I'm not talking about get-rich-quick nonsense or crypto gambling. I'm talking about the exact system that builds real, lasting wealth. The kind that lets you sleep at night instead of checking your Robinhood app at 2 a.m. like a caffeinated squirrel. Stick with me, and by the end, you'll know more about financial growth than 90% of people who've been meaning to figure this out for years. Let's go. Step 1. Stop acting broke. First things first, we need to talk about your stability fund. Notice I didn't say emergency fund, because emergency fund sounds boring, like financial broccoli. But a stability fund, that's your financial shield. Here's what most people get wrong. They think having $5,000 saved means they're financially stable. Spoiler alert, you're not. You're one medical bill, one car repair, or one surprise root canal away from being back at square one. The rule is simple. You need 3 to 6 months of essential expenses in your stability fund before you start investing. Notice I said essential expenses, not your I deserve this DoorDash budget. Your essentials, rent, utilities, basic food, insurance, the stuff that keeps you alive and housed. Let's do some quick math. If your essential monthly expenses are $2,000, you need $6,000 to $12,000 in your stability fund. If they're $3,000, you need $9,000 to $18,000. Your $5,000 might actually need a sibling before you start making it work for you. Now, I can hear you already, but inflation, but opportunity cost. Hold your horses. This isn't about getting rich overnight. This is about not getting poor suddenly. Your stability fund is insurance, not an investment. Here's the thing about wealthy people. They have massive cash reserves. Not because they're scared of investing, they're swimming in assets, but because they never want to be forced to sell investments at the wrong time. Your broke cousin sells his stocks when his transmission fails. The wealthy person pulls from their stability fund and lets their investments keep compounding. So here's your immediate action. Calculate your essential monthly expenses, multiply by 3, that's your minimum target. If your $5,000 doesn't hit that number, get it there before moving to the fun stuff. If it does exceed it, congratulations, you just unlocked the next level. But here's what the wealthy do differently, and this is where most people's financial journey either takes off or crashes. Step 2. Kill the silent wealth assassin. Lifestyle inflation. You built your stability fund or you're on your way there. Now we need to talk about lifestyle inflation. This is the silent killer, the wealth assassin. The reason people who make $200,000 a year somehow have the same financial stress as people making $50,000. Here's how it works. You get a raise, suddenly your $12 Chipotle burrito isn't satisfying. You need the $18 Pokeball. Your Honda Civic is embarrassing. You need the Tesla. Your income goes up by 20%, but your expenses go up by 30%. Congratulations, you just played yourself. According to research from 2023, 73% of people who save $5,000 will completely sabotage themselves within 18 months through lifestyle inflation. Let me give you a real example. In 2020, during the pandemic, millions of people suddenly had extra money. No commute costs, no daily coffee runs, no weekend brunches. The average American saved an extra $400 to $600 per month. Fast forward to 2023, and that same group increased discretionary spending by 42% compared to pre-pandemic levels. The I deserve this after lockdown mentality cost them thousands of dollars. Here's the trap. Most financial advice tells you about the latte factor. Cut your $5 daily coffee. But that's not where lifestyle inflation really kills you. It's the big stuff. The car upgrade that adds $300 monthly. The apartment that costs $400 more because it has in-unit laundry. Small daily expenses are mosquitoes. Big lifestyle upgrades are financial vampires. And this is where most people sabotage themselves. They think, I work hard, I deserve nice things. And you know what? You do. But here's the secret the wealthy understand. Delayed gratification creates permanent comfort. Immediate gratification creates permanent stress. So, here's your immediate action. Conduct a lifestyle inflation audit. Look at your expenses from 1 year ago versus today. What increased? Was it intentional or did it just happen? This isn't about shame, this is about awareness. The goal isn't to live like a monk forever. The goal is to consciously choose your upgrades after your assets are growing, not before.
Step 3. Master the 60-30-10 money machine. Now we're getting into the good stuff, the actual system that turns your money into a wealth-building machine. We're going to talk about the 60-30-10 rule for salary allocation. Here's how it breaks down. 60% of your income goes to living expenses. 30% goes to financial growth, investing, assets, building your future. 10% is your joy fund, guilt-free spending on whatever makes you happy. Let's say you're bringing home $4,000 monthly. That's $2,400 for essentials, $1,200 for financial growth, and $400 for pure joy. No guilt, no spreadsheets tracking every coffee. Now, I can hear the objections, but my rent is already 40% of my income. Here's the thing. The 60-30-10 rule isn't a commandment. It's a target. If you're currently at 75-25, your goal is to slowly shift towards 60-30-10 over time. Let me give you a real example. In 2022, we had a market crash. 2 people, same age, same $60,000 salary. Person A was doing 60-30-10 allocation. Person B was winging it, spending whatever felt right, saving about 5 to 8% of income. When the market crashed, Person A had been investing $1,500 monthly for 3 years. $54,000 contributed. Even after the crash, their portfolio was worth around $48,000. Person B had maybe $8,000 saved. Fast forward to 2024. The market recovered. Person A's portfolio is now worth around $75,000. Person B is sitting at maybe $12,000. Same salary, different system. Pause for a second. Same income, radically different outcomes. The difference wasn't luck, it was a system. Here's your immediate action. Calculate your current allocation. What percentage goes to living expenses? What percentage to financial growth? Don't judge it, just measure it. Then create a 6-month plan to shift towards 60-30-10. And here's the kicker. Once you've built enough assets through that 30% allocation, eventually your passive income starts covering some of that 60% living expense category. That's when you've actually built financial freedom. In 3 minutes, I'll show you how to automate this. Step 4. Turn money into a 24/7 employee. Welcome to the fun part, where your money starts working harder than you do. We're talking about automation and investing. Here's the truth about investing. It's boring. It's so boring that it works. All the excitement, day trading, crypto gambling, hot stock tips, that's entertainment disguised as investing. Real investing is automated, consistent, and thrilling as watching paint dry. And that's exactly why it builds wealth. Let me introduce you to automatic investing. The day after your paycheck hits, money automatically transfers from checking to your investment account. You never see it, you never touch it, you never talk yourself out of it. The investment vehicle is simple. Low-cost index funds or ETFs. An index fund is basically a basket containing tiny pieces of hundreds or thousands of companies. When you buy an S&P 500 index fund, you own a slice of the 500 biggest companies in America. One purchase, instant diversification. Why does this matter? Because you're not trying to beat the market, you're trying to match it. Historically, the market returns about 8 to 10% annually over long periods. Here's what this looks like. You automate $500 monthly into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund. You don't check it daily. You don't panic when it drops. You just keep feeding it. Let's talk numbers. If you invest $500 monthly with an average 9% annual return, in 10 years, you'll have about $98,000. You contributed $60,000. The market gave you $38,000 for free. In 20 years, around $337,000. In 30 years, over $900,000. That's compound growth. It's math, not magic. But here's where people screw up. They try to time the market. They wait for the right moment. They sell when it drops because they panic. And you know what happens? They underperform the market by 3 to 5% annually, which over decades cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here's your immediate action. Open a brokerage account. Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab. Set up automatic monthly transfers that align with your 30% allocation. Invest in a low-cost index fund, then delete the app from your phone. Check it once a quarter maximum. If you're still watching, you're already in the top 15% of people who actually take financial growth seriously. Most people clicked away after 2 minutes because they wanted a magic trick, not a real system. But you're still here.
Step 5. Build your escape hatch. We've covered defense, your stability fund, expense control, automated investing. Now let's talk offense, high income skills. This is where you stop trading time for money at a fixed rate and start building leverage. Here's the cold reality. The stock market will give you 8 to 10% returns annually. That's solid. But you know what gives you better returns? Investing in yourself. The right skill, applied correctly, can turn $5,000 into $30,000 within a year. I'm not talking about going back to college for another degree. I'm talking about high-income skills, abilities that people will pay you serious money to deploy. Writing, design, coding, video editing, digital marketing, sales, consulting. Skills that work remotely, skills that scale. Here's why this matters. You can allocate a portion of your $5,000 towards skill acquisition. Maybe $500 for an online course, maybe $1,000 for equipment, maybe $2,000 to build a digital product. These aren't expenses, they're investments with potentially massive ROI. Compare the returns. Put $5,000 in the stock market, get maybe $500 in year 1. Put $2,000 into learning high-income skills and building a side business, potentially generate an extra $10,000 to $30,000 in year 1. Let me give you a real example. Someone spends $1,500 learning web design through online courses over 3 months. They start freelancing, $300, $500, $800 per project. Within 6 months, they're booking $2,000 projects. Within a year, they're pulling an extra $3,000 to $5,000 monthly. That's $36,000 to $60,000 annually from a $1,500 investment. The wealth building strategy is twofold. Keep your automated investing running, that's your long-term security, but also deploy capital towards skill development that accelerates your income, which feeds more into your investing machine. It's a flywheel effect. Here's the part most people miss. This isn't about hustling into burnout. This is about building an escape hatch. Right now, you're probably dependent on one income source, your job. High-income skills give you options. They give you leverage. They give you the ability to say no to things that don't serve you. And here's the skill that beats all others: sales and persuasion. Learn how to communicate value. Learn how to close deals. Whether you're freelancing, starting a business, or climbing the corporate ladder, sales unlocks everything else. Here's your immediate action. Identify one high-income skill that aligns with your interests. Allocate $500 to $2,000 toward learning it. Take a course, build a portfolio, then start offering services. Even an extra $500 monthly is $6,000 annually you can funnel back into investing. Skills are the ultimate asset because nobody can repossess them, the market can't crash them, and they appreciate over time. Step 6. The Joy Fund Secret. Financial discipline that doesn't suck. Let's talk about why most budgets fail. They're based on deprivation. They're financial diets that tell you no to everything fun until you crack and blow $800 at Target. Financial discipline doesn't work when it feels like punishment. Enter the Joy Fund. That 10% from our 60-30-10 allocation. This is your guilt-free, spend on whatever makes you happy money. Concert tickets? Approved. Fancy dinner? Go for it. The beauty is that it's planned indulgence, which means it doesn't derail your financial growth. Here's the psychology. When you tell yourself you can never have something, you obsess over it. When you tell yourself you can have it within boundaries, you relax. The Joy Fund is your release valve. Most people approach money in extremes. They're either total YOLO spenders or extreme frugalists who won't spend $15 on a meal. Both approaches suck. The Joy Fund is the middle path. If you're making $4,000 monthly, that's $400 for your Joy Fund. That's $100 per week to spend on whatever you want. No tracking every coffee, no justifying purchases. It's already approved. And as your income grows, that 10% grows too. If you hit $10,000 monthly through skill development, you've got $1,000 for guilt-free fun.
You're not sacrificing lifestyle, you're just making sure wealth building happens first. The psychological benefit is massive. You never feel broke, you never feel deprived, you're still living life, buying the good coffee, treating yourself, but you're doing it within a system that guarantees you're also building wealth. Here's your immediate action. Set up a separate checking account specifically for your Joy Fund. Every month, that 10% automatically transfers there. This isn't your emergency fund. This isn't your investing account. This is your life is short, buy the concert tickets fund. Use it freely. Remember the 60-30-10 allocation? 60% keeps you alive, 30% builds your empire, 10% keeps you sane today. All three matter. Sacrifice any one and the system collapses.
Step 7. Stack your assets like Tetris. We've made it to the final step, asset diversification. This is where your $5,000 transforms from a single lump sum into a multi-layered wealth machine. Here's the reality. Putting all your money in one place is risky. Market crashes happen. Real estate bubbles burst. Diversification isn't about paranoia, it's about resilience. Let's break down a smart strategy for someone starting with $5,000. That 30% going to financial growth isn't all going to one place. It's strategically allocated across multiple asset classes. First layer, your stability fund in a high-yield savings account. 3 to 6 months of expenses, untouchable. Second layer, broad market index funds. ETFs tracking the S&P 500, automated monthly contributions. This is your core wealth builder. Third layer, bonds for stability. As you build wealth, adding bonds creates a cushion. When stocks crash, bonds usually hold steady. Fourth layer, real estate exposure through REITs. You don't need $50,000 for a down payment. REITs let you own pieces of commercial real estate through the stock market. Even $500 can get you started. Fifth layer, high-income skill investments. A portion of your allocation goes towards skill development. These generate returns through increased earning potential. The progression. At $5,000, you're mostly stability fund plus starting index fund investing. At $10,000, you're adding bonds and REITs. At $20,000, you're deepening diversification. At $50,000 and beyond, you've got a multi-asset portfolio generating passive income. Let's talk about passive income, the holy grail. Dividend stocks send you cash quarterly, REITs distribute rental income, digital products sell while you sleep. Each stream is small at first, but they compound. Imagine this trajectory. You start with $5,000 today, you follow 60-30-10 religiously, you develop skills that increase your income by $1,000 monthly within a year. 5 years from now, you've got a $75,000 portfolio. 10 years, you're approaching $200,000. 15 years, you're financially independent. That's not fantasy, that's math. That's what happens when you treat $5,000 as the first domino. Here's your immediate action. Map out your diversification plan for the next 5 years. Start simple, stability fund plus index funds. As you grow, layer in bonds and REITs. And here's the part nobody talks about. Diversification isn't just about financial assets. It's about income sources too. Your job, your side hustle, your dividends, your digital products. True security comes from multiple streams. If one dries up, you adjust and keep building. Let's bring this all together. You have $5,000 saved. That's not the finish line, that's the starting gun. Step 1, build your stability fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses. Step 2, kill lifestyle inflation, audit your spending, lock in conscious decisions. Step 3, implement 60-30-10, 60 to essentials, 30 to growth, 10 to joy. Step 4, automate everything. Set up transfers, buy index funds, delete the app. Step 5, invest in high-income skills that scale your earning potential. Step 6, create your joy fund and use it. Build wealth while enjoying life. Step 7, stack your assets across multiple categories for resilience. Your $5,000 isn't just money sitting in an account, it's seed capital for a financial ecosystem that grows, compounds, and eventually provides freedom. The difference between people who build wealth and people who stay stuck isn't intelligence, it isn't luck, it's system versus chaos. It's automation versus emotion. If you made it this far, you're already ahead of 90% of people who say they want financial freedom but never take action. Subscribe to this channel. We're going to keep breaking down exactly how to build real wealth. Drop a comment telling me which step you're implementing first.
What are you going to do with your $5,000? Are you going to let it sit there while inflation eats it alive? Are you going to turn it into a wealth-building machine? Real financial freedom isn't about retiring on a beach at 35. It's waking up knowing that if your job disappeared tomorrow, you'd be okay. It's being able to say no to things that don't serve you. Your $5,000 is the beginning of that story. The choice is yours. Make it count.